Greetings, gamers! I've been working on a new game called Incoming. Incoming is a 3D VR missile defense game. Protect your cities with a wide assortment of defenses against waves of warheads, bombers, zeppelins, and epic bosses. Wishlist today on Steam. Link is in the description. Greetings, Starfarers. Welcome to another episode of Starfield. I'm Cobalt Thorium. In this episode, we are on Indom 2.
Do you see anything useful?
Oh, that was mean. Are you gonna attack me? If it's not gonna attack, I'm not gonna kill it. Alright, we're checking out Pilgrim's Retreat here. We're kind of scanning some of these life forms along the way that we find. That was like millie whales. I think that that's kind of a cute concept. There's a lot of them here. Jeez, look at this. Take a closer look at them. They're so weird. Alright, they are temperament wary, resource toxin, biomes frozen, volcanic, coniferous, sandy desert, swamp, and health is 20. There's a lot of uranium around here. Yeah, let's not go out of our way. I'm sure we'll run into enough of those plants depending on where we end up going. Alright, Pilgrim's Retreat. I don't suspect that this guy's going to be particularly hostile. In fact, he kind of did imply that he's dead. Come on. Jump, jump, oh, jump, there. Now that I scan stuff, I can actually enjoy this place. Actually, right there. That's interesting. So we'll head on over there. Alright, we got the candle outside. This looks like it's probably the front door. Okay, we have Pilgrim's writing. Let's go ahead and grab that. The Pilgrim's writing 1. The credulous simplicity of mundane humans never ceases to amaze me. My worst instincts, the evil spirit, draw me towards a form of contempt for them. But I remember that I am privy to that which they are not. I cannot and should not judge them for a lack of vision, when I know very well that the blinders which obscure their sight, once I wore them myself after all. I hope, for their sake, that they may someday understand. But for my sake, I wish to be left alone. Interesting. So it's almost like he's seen something that possessed him, or at least gave him some insight that nobody else has, that makes him feel like he's not human anymore. Like, that's a pretty big insight. Alright, let's take a look here. We have a fancy compass. Still no was hoping for some snow globes or something. But there are none. I've still only ever found the one. Alright, let's look at his second entry here. I really want to find more snow globes. Alright. Search for clues on Unity. Oh, Pilgrim's writing 5. Let's try to go in order. Get off there. Get. Unlike personal room. If you came seeking the right answers, will you know what question to ask? What are you talking about? How to open the store? Where's the food? Or what's the Unity? Oh, let's go. What's the Unity? I return your question with a question. If you have read my writings, what is the burden of people? People are necessary, but people are madness. They're too heavy. Gotta go on diets. Oh, we all seem to end up just fighting each other. I mean, it's probably the last one, but I don't know. I feel like we are expected to have more writings than just the one before we go in there. So let's look around. I didn't even notice the store before. I amped crazy. Okay, this is his bathroom. No writings unless it's here. No? Okay. I don't want to read them out of order, but we might have to. Let's look outside. There was that sort of like Zen garden-y area. There's this big cistern here. Let's just take a look at it. I don't expect there to be anything, but you never know. Alright, so it's got a little bridge. This looks like a leak. I don't think this was initially here. It's not really a pool. I don't know why the staircase would be here if it was there initially. Alright, so we have a little shaded area. Clues for Unity. Oh, we've got writings too. That's nice. Yeah, let's just go ahead and read it. Pilgrim's writing 2. So here is the crux of my troubles. To accomplish anything, I need to work with other people. I need assistance, I need workers, I need hands. As we work together, they inevitably ask questions, and I can never help talking. It starts innocently enough. They want to understand how someone who believes in science can also believe in the divine. Or they have their own misunderstanding instilled by some borderline religious remnant. My weakness is my inability to let alone. I want them to understand, so I try, gently as I might, to nudge their minds along the right path. Then there are some follow-ups and followings. The trouble is that I genuinely care for these people. It would be so much easier if I didn't. Okay, does that give us an answer to the question? There's nothing here about fighting other people. Another book. 4. So we're missing one. Ooh, what do we have here? 3. Okay. Sweet. We have found them all. Today, in a soft voice, my assistant asked me if there was anything above the Unity. It was all I could do to keep from shouting that I could scarcely comprehend the misunderstanding that would lead to such a question. It was asked honestly, and I answered as best I could. But if I could, but even if my closest confidant here can fail to grasp even the most basic of these truths, why am I bothering to explain it to any of them? Every word that drops from my mouth gets gobbled up, misheard, misremembered, misunderstood, and mistranslated before I can issue the slightest clarification. People are necessary, but people are madness. Okay, we have an answer to that question. I attempted to withdraw, to go off alone, to commune with the Unity in my own way. They followed. Of course they followed. At last, a bit of peace. A piece of peace. Is that anything? Is that funny? Why am I trying to be funny? Have they driven me mad at last? Is the difference between writing to myself, or is there a difference between writing to myself and talking to myself? The former certainly seems more acceptable than the latter. I recall again that my mind is my own, and that even if it only exists, that the sufficient I recall again that my mind is my own, and even if only it exists, okay, that is sufficient for me to believe in everything else. The Unity has restored me once more. This time I act alone for now. Myself is a formidable opponent. I should have explained as much, but vanity is thankfully not among my vices. I'm wondering if he actually is going insane here. Regardless, it turns out time spent in solitude is, in my case, time with a very sick man. Or whatever it is I've become. I do not like this person. Weird. I am kind of starting to wonder if the Starborn are his disciples. Very confused. Alright. The fourth one was especially weird. The other ones made sense, but the fourth one didn't. There's a sticky note here. Nothing on it, huh? Okay. Pilgrim 25. I find myself thinking about his various pasts and possible futures. I imagine continuing the road, acquiring more power, more knowledge, more development of myself. I imagine passing through once more to another world to begin the process anew. Oh no. Is there like a parallel dimension? If there is, and this universe is already too big with all of its cookie cutter assets. Alright, anyway. What is notable here? That road does seem gratifying. That is what's notable here. Every step is one of intrinsic reward, and I feel myself anticipating the pleasures and seeing a more contented version of myself in that future. Then, for the sake of considering all possibilities, I imagine if I took a different path, if I stopped running, if I stopped seeking to gather my own power. Gathering my own power. Is he trying to become a god himself? If I instead embraced the twinges of compassion I feel in my heart, and let myself care for the people who seem to gather about me wherever I try to work, if I simply lived and taught and perhaps brought others to the light and died. That road also seems gratifying. I also see a contented version of myself in that future. I'm going to have to reread this. I'm sorry. There's a lot here. Here's the difference, though. When I stop thinking about the glories I could achieve for myself, the pleasure fades almost immediately. When I stop thinking about staying and building something, the feeling endures. There's something more sustaining about it, more fulfilling. I don't know what this difference signifies, but I'm grateful for the time I've taken to notice it. I find myself... Okay, I'm going to reread this. I'm sorry. I find myself thinking about various paths and possible futures. I imagine continuing on the road, acquiring more power, more knowledge, more development of myself. I imagine passing through once more to another world and beginning the process anew. So is he skipping between realities? What's notable here, the road does seem gratifying. Okay. Learning about himself is gratifying. Every step is one more intrinsic reward, and I feel myself anticipating the pleasures and feeling a more contented version of myself in that future. There is a theory of God that he create, like, one of the big questions is obviously why did he create the universe to begin with? And there's this theory that he created to better understand himself through us, through people. And maybe that's what they're getting at here. One thing that I think is really weird is that it's like there's part of it that's like the opposite of like a Jesus. Like, here's the difference, though. When I stop thinking about the glories I could achieve, when I stop thinking about the glories I could achieve for myself, pleasure fades nearly immediately. When I stop thinking about staying and building something, the feeling endures. The feeling of pleasure endures. There's something more sustaining about it, more fulfilling. When you say it, what do you mean here? That is my question. When there's something more sustaining about it, do you mean staying and building something, or the pleasure, or I assume it means the pleasure. And the rest is just emphasizing that this person is trying to figure out more about themselves. But the Jesus part is right here. Then, for the sake of considering all possibilities, I imagine if I took a different path, if I stopped running, stopped seeking to gather my own power, if instead I embrace the twinges of compassion I feel in my heart and let myself care for the people who seem to have gathered about me wherever I try to work, if I simply lived and taught and perhaps brought others to the light and died. That's Jesus right there, right? That is the idea of Jesus. So he's basically saying he wants to reject that because he gets more pleasure out of not doing that, I guess. It's weird. What are you talking about? How do I open the door? I kind of want to just do this. But it's, what is the unity? People are necessary but madness. Who is your most formidable opponent? Myself. Where does enduring contentment come from? In growing, becoming better, stronger. Well, he said in growing, becoming better and stronger, but maybe that's a typo in the text. Because this is the answer that I would expect. But I'm pretty sure he said this. Okay, there's a typo in the text. Yeah. Okay. For the main quest, for there to be a typo in the text, that's shocking. Unless I read it wrong somehow, but I read it twice, so I'm pretty sure it's right. I came here seeking the true meaning of unity. If you still wish to find it, there's one final piece of myself in the next room. I found my own answer a long time ago, but not in the way I was expecting. I hope your journey gives you the truth. I'm kind of curious to see if there's a typo in this text. I want to look at that one more time. No. Where's my inventory guy? Come on. Inventory. When I stopped thinking about the glories I could achieve for my pleasure, the pleasure fades nearly immediately. When I stop thinking, there's a knot in here. So the pleasure is when they're not. Wait. When I stop. Yeah, the pleasure fades. So this is entirely wrong. This paragraph here is wrong. Bethesda, fix this. It's your main quest. It should be when I think of the glories I could achieve for myself, the pleasure fades immediately. When I think about staying and building something, the feeling endures. The stop is wrong. Or stop and think, maybe. But that's not what it says. Okay? Alright. How could you have a typo in, like, one of the quest items in the main story? Like, what? Alright. Somebody in the YouTube comments, tell me I'm wrong, because this is, like, how could you flub that? And it seems like a flub, doesn't it? Alright. Let's go. Ooh, Tracker's Primer, number 2. Permanently increase particle weapon damage by 5%. I hope that also includes my ship, because I don't really use particle weapons. Got any contraband here? Hanging out the bed? Nope. And even you don't seem to have any snow globes. Where are they? These are supposed to be like the equivalent of the bobbleheads. You'd think that they'd be around more places. Like key places. Like this. I would consider this a key location. There's no bobblehead or snow globe to remember it by. Alright, Pilgrim's final writing. I don't know what the correct answer is. I may never. Increasingly, though, I am comfortable with not knowing. The more I reflect on being here, in this world, in this time, the more I think it is precisely where I need to be. This time will be different. It won't be about me, so I won't have to run. I can actually build something with intent instead of scrambling to fix something that others create in my name. It can be something beneficial. It can be something, or I can be something beneficial. I'm leaving behind that other person. This world has no place for him. Let him die. Let him live to enlighten the blessed universe before me. You have found the end of my journey. But to know everything, you must find its beginning. On Hyla 2, the island hides the scorpion, and the scorpion's sting hides the truth. I think we've been there before. I think I stumbled across that temple. Because I remember there being like a structure called the Scorpion. And we just kind of found it one day. Alright, I'm going to read this again. Because I think that there's meaning here. Insinuated, not said explicitly. I don't know what the correct answer is. I might never. Increasingly, I'm comfortable with not knowing. The more I reflect on being here, in this world, this time, the more I think it is precisely where I need to be. Okay, that's fine. This time will be different. That's interesting. This time. What does that mean? It won't be about me, so I won't have to run. Okay, I have no idea what that means. If it's about him, he has to run? Why? Is there someone chasing him? I can actually build something instead of scrambling to fix something that others create in my name. Okay, so I think that this is a church. That when he runs, that the people who inherit the faith get corrupted, or they corrupt what he built. I think that that's what he's trying to say. But if they can't corrupt it, if he stays around, he can build something beneficial. I can be something beneficial. Okay. I'm leaving behind that other person. This world has no place for him. Let him die. So it almost seems like a divine entity possesses the body of an individual and uses him as an avatar in the world, and that's what the Pilgrim is, right? But it's almost like he's moving on to the next world, to the next universe, basically. I think that that's what it means by this time it'll be different, because he's leaving and he's going to let the Pilgrim die and leave. Let me live to enlighten the blessed universe before me. Maybe the universe before me is the next one? But then this doesn't make any sense. If you found the end of my journey, but to know everything. Wait, you found the... Okay. But is it the end of my journey? My? Like, the entity? It's the end of the Pilgrim's journey. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too far into this. Let's go to Hyla. Actually, how long has this episode been? Let me just check. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. Alright. So I think we've sort of figured out... Actually, we have to explore this planet. So, yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of the episode on this planet. I'm sorry. I realize it's going to be boring, but... you know, we achieved a lot. We figured out what's going on in this world, or we've advanced the story, at least. We haven't really figured it out. We have some context now that we didn't have before. And maybe I'm way off base.
And your scan shows...
But, you know, we made significant progress. We can spend the rest of the time here just enjoying the planet. It is kind of different. It's not one that we've seen before. Where it's very Saharan, I would say. Like, we've seen some desert planets, but not like this deserty. This is like Dune. Wow. I mean, there are some pretty clear oases, but... No, I'm not bothering you. They should set up an AI with a chase mechanic. Because in, like, real life, a lot of times, animals will... They almost rely on whether or not their prey is scared of them to decide whether or not they are prey. Like a bear or something. If you run away from a bear, it'll chase you. If you stay there, it'll be like, aren't you supposed to run away? And then if you don't, they'll be like, okay, maybe you're not prey. So... I don't know if that's actually true. That's just what I've gathered from like what I've heard. So don't use that as like a survival strategy. I don't know if it works. Okay, Caelus pokeweed or pokeweed. Resource structural, biome, sandy desert, swamp, genetics, standard helix, carbon based, reproduction spores. We have to find 2 surface features. How are we doing on... Okay. So we still have to find a bunch of flora. Still have to find some resources, too. See if we can figure out which ones they are. Fluorine and argon, so we're looking for gases. Alright, so we have a fungal grotto. A dense spore cloud leaves mind-altering residue on plants and rocks. It'd be interesting if you could, like, trip in here. Oh, that's interesting. That might just be a weird rock formation. I don't know if we should rely on that as another surface feature. We do have to scan more critters, so I suppose we should just head towards it. Scan some stuff along the way. Walk along the dunes. No animals are over here.
I shall stand guard while you focus.
We need to find some of those velvet balloons. Left is the fluorine. Toadface is here. Toadface grazer, temperament wary, resource analgesic, biomes, coniferous forest, sandy desert, and swamp. That's probably the same life sign. but I'm not entirely sure. Trippy grotto. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just going to be weird rock formation, not the glacial remnant. I don't know what that is. Maybe that isn't the Trippy grotto. It could be an LOD of the Trippy grotto. It doesn't look like it, though. So we'll head on over there. See if it's the thing that we're looking for. Alright, we got velvet blooms. Resource nutrient. Biomes, coniferous forest, sandy desert swamp, genetic standard helix, carbon-based, and the reproduction is self-cloning. Yeah, this is just the weird rock formation. On the flip side, Stone Spire. Yeah. Get up there. On the flip side, I do believe that is not just another grotto. Come on. Okay. At least it doesn't look like one from far away. Maybe it is. I hope not. A waste of time. It is not. It is a fermentation vent. Fibrous plants release microbes into the ventilated flora, where they ride gusts of wind until they eventually land in a fermentation pile. Sounds lovely. Sounds smelly. What? Whoa. Got some Ryusian geologists. They're all bent all kinds of weird ways.
We should move on, if there's nothing worth taking.
What were you guys doing? Alright, well, we have our 2 surface features. That's wonderful. I think we still have a little bit of time left in the episode, so let's pop over to some of these industrial outposts and see if we can find... Or there's an industrial outpost and a science outpost. See if we can find some more stuff to help us finish the surveying of this planet. Maybe we can get a little bit of a quest. If it's a combat quest, I'm going to decline it because they just take too long and it's just make work.
I don't know why everyone's so down on this job. Construction work pays great. I thought help would never come, but here you are. Crimson Fleet pirates have been giving us a hard time. If they show up, think you could take them out?
Nope.
Fine. Just think about it, please.
No, it takes too long. If they were gonna give us a quest for like, oh, just you know, put a couple sensors near some vents,
got another thing coming if they
or go mine a cave somewhere and tell us what minerals you get. You know, that stuff's easy. That stuff's fine. Goes fast. Oh, there's something blue over there. That's just a storage box. Never did find the fluorine, did we? There it is. Let's get up somewhere high where we can kind of get a look. It doesn't really look like there's any life up here. Alright, let's move to another site. We'll consider that to be explored. Go to the science outpost. Do the same little ritual. Hey, buddy. Oh, that's Andrea. Get out of here. There's robots here. Oh, here's somebody.
Please, help us.
Talk to me. How long does it take?
Am I ever glad to see you? We need your help. We were performing some routine scans when a pack of the native wildlife decided that we'd make for a nice meal. It wasn't until we made it back that we realized one of our crew was still out there.
See, this we can do.
She must have gotten hurt in all of the chaos. We need you to bring her back. Can you do this for us?
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Right. Back to it.
Alright. Make sure that this mission is the one that's tagged. Okay. Let's go. Hopefully this will allow us to find what's the other animal life around. Missing plant. Looks like it's all the same. Might have to check from orbit, figure out where the missing life forms are. Ooh, oh, what is that? Okay, a hunting trap moth. So we have to go find trap moths. Looks like we've already found a couple of them. In the desert. And now we're in the forest. It's probably hostile, so I'm going to avoid it a little bit. Whoop, hello. Sounds angry. Was there another one over here? Might have been that last one. I think I'm gonna just go straight for the objective. Oh, there's another trap maw or something. Alright, the hunting trap maw. Temperament defensive, resource nutrient. Biomes, coniferous forest, sandy desert, swamp, and 310 for health. The swamp probably has some kind of fish in it. That's probably one of the things that I'm missing. Maybe it has a plant, because I don't think the area that we're in right now is considered the swamp. This is probably the coniferous forest. Although it could be. Not sure. It's very hilly. constantly going up and down. Some creepy sounds. Why are you angry? This game is such a walking simulator. We need to make this streamlined. Somebody told me once that this is like the quintessential COVID game. It was developed a lot during the COVID era. And, you know, it was a time when people had a lot of free time on their hands. And they probably would have been happy just to, like, get out and on a fake universe like this and just, like, walk around. Like, they wouldn't mind as much that it's just so empty and boring. But now I would say that we're kind of post-COVID and it's just, like, a little bit tedious. At the cave. Let's just make work missions. Hello.
Hey, you. Here, let me see that.
You can see it from there.
Amazing. Knocked the pain right out. Much appreciated. Let's get out of here. I'll follow you.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna teleport back, but, let's see. It's kind of interesting that didn't
We're
open.
so lucky you found us.
That didn't open the terrain map.
We are all breathing a sigh of relief around here now that we are all back together. Thank you. Here, this is for you. I only wish I had more to give. Safe travels, friend.
Why, thank you. Alright, mine is complete. I might just wrap up the episode here, because we don't even have any more missions here. It's just going to be me poking around trying to find these last flora and fauna, and that's not all that fun. So let's wrap it up here. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have, please like, maybe comment, maybe share, maybe subscribe. New episodes every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, US and Canada. I'm Cobalt Thorium. and I
If
hope
you need to
get
harvest any organic materials, now would be the time.
And I hope to get you in the next one. Bye-bye.